Spinning. Okay, now I'm live.
It's spinning. No,
I,
you
s-
look
I,
good.
s-
It
I
looks
swear
good.
with these glasses, I look like some video game character. I do not remember which one, but there's a game character I look like. And I can't picture which one it is. Hello, everybody out there. We are
We're
live.
live.
And on top of that, we are live here on a Tuesday night, our usual time. Hello, everybody out there. I'll give you guys a second to get in the chat. We got guests tonight.
Come on in. Sit
Um,
down.
yeah, we got some
Come
guests
in.
coming in, and we are going to talk about comics as industry. And we got we got a gentleman who joined us a couple weeks ago on our Indie Vote Breakfast Buzz show, and he's back tonight on the flagship show. And we're gonna get him some views because I just found out. I just did some research and seen that we haven't nearly gotten him to where I wanted him to personally be at with those books. So I have a personal goal for this book, and I think it needs to get there. And I know that you guys can do it. Thank you for joining us, Indie Vote Radio. I see we just started off 1,287 people listening on Indie Vote Radio. Thank you.
It's a small start, but we're climbing.
Yeah. We're gonna hit the intro, come back, bring our guest in, do our introductions, and we'll get started. Ready?
Right. I got it.
All right, go ahead.
Here we go. Hang on.
All right, so there we go. Our intro has been played, and now I'm having some weird technical difficulties, more so than usual, today. I don't know why, but I'm gonna get it together. I promise you that. Anyway,
Try not to use your computer as much as possible, and I'll pull up whatever you need.
Randy, make sure your video is public on your side too.
My video might not be public.
Just make sure it is, and maybe it might not be, but you never know.
Check that right now.
So let's bring in our guest. We're gonna bring him in right now. He's gonna pop in right next to Lola.
First.
Yeah, and we're gonna do ourselves. Bringing in Dr. Laura. But first of all, hello everybody out there. My name is Varian Grant, co-owner of Last Call Comics. Been so for the last 8 years, and founder of Any Media LLC. Got my start making comics way back in 2008. First book I ever published was a black and white interior action comedy called Psycho Sirens. I'm a father, husband, geek, creator, publisher, reluctant taxpayer. Reluctant taxpayer. Yeah. Until it came to that stimulus check. Now I'm a very happy taxpayer. Sensitivity reader, because, why not? And artist, shamefully not in that order. And you're watching Indie Vault Live. Tonight, I'm joined by, as always, Lola and Mr. Randy Zimmerman. Randy,
hey everybody,
how you doing?
Good. I'm trying to figure out how to make this public.
So remember the little two, it's like two people in your Facebook feed. It's like this little icon has two people, and then another one says is a planet. That means global. That means everybody can see it.
Got it. Yeah. Got it. Oh,
Alan St.
Yep. Yeah. Now it's public. All right.
Alan St. Clark says pandemic times. Brian Langley says, hello, everyone. Hope everybody is staying safe. We are. Randy, introduce yourself.
I'm Randy Zimmerman. I am a alternative and independent comics producer, publisher. I've done just about everything in the comics market, the direct comics field over the last many decades. I am a commercial and graphic artist, award-winning commercial and graphic artist, whose main call is to do sequential art. So a lot of advertising work and entertainment work, all in sequential art. So, and I also run the Zim Geek channel over on YouTube, and I'm here on the Indie Vault. So,
hey. That was like the down part of his thing. I'm here on Indie Vault.
I'm here on the Indie Vault.
Yeah, that was it.
No, I love the Indie Vault.
And now we have
all of our radio listeners.
We have Dr. War, who has joined in with us today. He's going to be talking about his comic, The Death Ray of Dr. Vindictus, which is on its crowdfunding right now. Indiegogo, am I right?
Indiegogo, yes.
Indiegogo. And introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about you.
Okay, so I'm Dr. Lohr. My background, I spent several years in the military. I've also taught as a high school teacher and as a college professor. History is my field. I've written a few books on the subject, and I'm also a member of the Royal Historical Society in London.
Sweet.
I've gotten into writing comics, though, in the past couple of years. I've been writing a bunch of short stories, and I've written a novel, which I haven't published yet. But I decided to get into converting some of my stories into comics and also writing comics from scratch in the past couple of years. And I've written about a dozen or so far, although this will be my first one that is completed as far as the art goes.
Awesome.
Awesome. And we've taken a look at your book before, but I want to get you on our Tuesday night show, bigger audience, bigger radio audience, especially because I think that your book is fascinating. I really like the art. There it is, the Death Ray Dr. Vindictus. Randy has now. The last time we played it, we got in trouble because of the sound.
Yeah,
I don't. They kicked us off Facebook. YouTube muted the video. So if we play it again tonight, we're gonna play it with no sound. But the video is a good video. Tells a little about the comic. But I mean, again, the art is fantastic on it. Before we really get into the book, though, Randy, we have 3 questions, 2 from the radio listeners from last week, and 1 that was written in by I didn't put the person's name in because I don't know if we want to out them. But it was a question that was sent to us. I'm going to put it up on the screen. Well, let me go through some of these messages here. Bill Phil says, "Hey, gang." Hey. Hello, Bill. Brian Jermaine says, "Hey. Evening, ladies and gents." And then Brian also says, "Great resume." Everyone here has a better resume than me. Everybody, even Lola, and she hasn't put out her first comic yet. So,
it's written though.
It's written. She finished it at 7:00 p.m. yesterday. She finished 64 pages. 75 pages.
Spring out of the chair with your pencil held high, screaming Excelsior.
Yeah. No. She just said, I did it. It's finished. She's gonna make me read it pretty soon. Eric Hodson, Dreaded Dinosaur, has joined us. He's in the green room right now, eating up all the Cheetos. We have the most boring green room ever. We don't have any sexy decoys back there.
No green M&Ms.
No green M&Ms. You're just back there. I want to bring Eric in real quick. There we go.
The Cheetos were stale, and I had to bring my own water bottle.
that sounds like the Indie Vote green room.
That's what happened when we're not monetized.
How's it going, everybody? Hello, Dr. Lohr. Good to see you again.
Hello. How you guys doing?
Good.
So we got 2 of the questions that we got were let me see here.
The lost questions.
There we go. Yeah, I had some lost questions. Yeah, I'll throw that in the chat too. I'll throw your link to your.
Here, let me do it.
Campaign. Okay. 2 of the questions we got. 2 are from the radio. 1 was actually written in, and it's a pretty spicy. I think that's the word. Pretty spicy question.
It's more than spicy.
Lola says it's more than spicy.
More than spicy.
More than spicy. Randy's gonna read it.
Mild or medium spice? Because I'm always confused on those jars.
Give me just a fraction.
Yeah, me too.
Mild, medium. Mild, medium. What?
It was it came from a Landon.L, who apparently is a comic book professional, meaning he works in the mainstream comic company, industry. So I did some research. I found 5 possible people, but I'm not going to out them. So, but I am going to put up the question right now, Randy. I'm going to let you read it. And
somebody said
here we go.
Hello to Jordan in the chat. Hello.
Oh. JW says, howdy, y'all. Howdy. You know, everybody knows I don't have the hat on. Not sure anybody's noticed that today. I'm not wearing the coonskin cap. It's being deloused at the moment.
I'm wondering what's up with them glasses.
These are gamer glasses for screen glare, and I'm on this computer a lot, so I need it for them to protect the eyes. And
Luckily, you could find a cleaner that is essential
Yeah.
enough to be able to delouse your
Yeah.
coon cap.
Truth is, it's just in the bedroom. I don't feel like going to get it.
Yeah.
Randy, go ahead and read that.
Here we go. You guys are a bunch of fuckers. Enjoying mainstream comics pros losing their jobs. Fuck you losers in your Nazi swastika shaped gaping assholes. Fuck you all. Landed.
So this is a question?
Yeah.
Next time try to be a little more bitter.
It's like Jeopardy. You must formulate
okay.
your answers in the form of a question.
That might work too.
So I got this question a couple days ago, and since I got this question, I can't get the image of a swastika shaped anal cavity out of my mind. I just can't. Just it being shaped and how it works.
Sometimes you just have to let the visuals go, dude.
I can't. My brain doesn't work that way, and I need to. And I can't figure out how it works. I can't figure out like does it retract? Anyway, so
first you were saying our
sure?
governor is attractive, and then now you're talking about this.
She
Yeah,
looks
well,
like Linda Carter.
yeah, our governor is attractive. She's a very pretty lady.
Are you
And she
sure
got
this
out.
guy? Are you sure the person who sent this email in is actually a mainstream professional?
Well, he says, yeah. He said he was at what a Nazi asshole $400.
Because calling us Nazi swastika shaped gaping assholes is kind of imaginative.
That doesn't sound very professional to me.
Well,
I don't know who this guy is,
not
but
just
that
that, but
doesn't
that
sound
takes
like a professional.
It takes a lot of imagination, and I'm not sure if he's working in the mainstream.
I just
Yeah.
do we seem like we enjoy mainstream pros losing their jobs? Don't.
Are we laughing
No.
at anybody
No.
losing their job?
No.
No.
There's a couple people that we would laugh at if they lost their job. A couple people's graves I could probably dance on with a soft shoe and a straw hat and a cane, but I don't think we're celebrating that yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Yet.
There's bigger problems going on than comic pros losing their job. So
Pencils down.
Yeah.
Hashtag pencils down.
But I mean, look, guys, swastika shaped buttholes.
I think you're obsessing.
this is what you were hung up on.
Yes, and I don't hear any absence today.
Hate mail is glorious, but swastika shaped.
We have a
buttholes.
wonderful guest who has a great looking book on Indiegogo, and you're hung up on swastika buttholes.
There you go.
Wow.
He's frozen now anyway. He can't.
Well,
talk.
I don't know
It's
what
all
to say
good.
to that.
I don't think he knows what to say to that.
Well, some of these people, though, they find that anybody that they disagree with or that they just don't like something they said, they're automatically a Nazi, right?
Yeah, they jump
Doesn't
to that
matter.
second N word
You know
real
what?
quick. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I've seen people call Ben Shapiro a Nazi, and Ben Shapiro is Jewish.
Yeah.
And he's really
So,
Jewish, like he's a practicing Jew.
Yes, exactly. I've got a little bit of Jewish ancestry in me myself, so I mean, I wouldn't have. The Nazis wouldn't have liked me.
Lola and Varian will be back in a moment after they probably replug in all of their equipment.
Yeah. Looks like that swastika butthole kind of broke their machine.
I think it broke Varian for sure. But yeah, hey,
Wow.
whoever wrote that in, we appreciate any input we can get our that comes in, and we're not going to hold it against you. But obviously, you haven't been listening to the program for very long. If you think we're here laughing at people losing their jobs, that's not the case. So. Now, mainstream, Diamond's problems, Marvel's problems, DC's problems, that might be a different story, but, individuals losing their jobs.
Well, I don't think any of us, even when it comes to Marvel and DC, I don't think any of us want to see them all lose their jobs or see them go downhill or anything.
Not all
but
of them, no.
That's kind of the writing on the wall that we're seeing right now. And so commenting on that and saying, well, their loss might be other people's gain, there might be a silver lining in it. That's not really but that's not the same thing as enjoying people losing their jobs, though.
The indie princess has rejoined the discussion.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. There's a distinction, and I think if we're calling this person a professional, we're just seeing the evolving definition of professional in comics.
That's very true.
It's always like I have a standard that I think is professional. I think if I send you an email asking for when I'm going to get time to when you're gonna get done what I'm hiring you to do, I expect you to answer that. That's an idea of professionalism. I mean, this kind of stuff. There's no way that you could call this person a pro at anything if this is how they talk to people.
I don't know. There's been some professionals that have talked on Twitter like that over the last couple of years, but it's the way it is, I guess.
Right.
If they don't want to be if they don't want to
Twitter
be
Twitter brings out the
it's
worst
not our
in
problem.
people, though.
That's very true.
Twitter's a
Twitter
dumpster
brings out the
fire.
worst in people, though. It's people feel emboldened on Twitter to say things that they would never say in person.
Do you have a bird?
Somebody has a bird?
Yes, I do, actually.
Okay.
That's awesome.
It's a cocktail.
Oh, I love cockatiels. I've had 2 of them in my life.
Is he going to start spouting off any words? It's all right.
Not yet. She's still fairly young and hasn't been fully trained yet.
According to Krista,
Just a hatchling.
The internet at the Grant home keeps crashing. So they will be they will be back. We are to keep it going.
All right. So you guys want me to go ahead and start talking about the tiers a little bit?
Varian was probably throwing too many things around. So.
Randy, can you bring up his Indiegogo on screen?
I sure can.
And
there we are. The Death Ray of Dr. Vindictus.
Okay, so Death Ray of Dr. Vindictus. If you want to scroll down here, I could talk about the perks. First perk here is no frills.
Tell us about the book first. Tell us about the book.
Yeah. Let's watch the intro.
Okay, gotcha.
Let's watch the intro.
Okay, so oh yes, let's do that.
Well, the intro is going to run without sound, so feel free to add some narration.
Okay. Well,
you can't hear that, can you?
No. The sound in this is going to be like Golden Age 1930s style music. Starts off with some ballroom music, and transitions to some like supervillain music when you see the villain come up here.
Uh-huh.
So the premise of the story is Dr. Vindictus has this death ray, and he's planning to hold the world hostage with it after destroying a major city. And the Cloaked Avenger and Phantom Boy have to stop him. The overall, there is a story within a story here, though. Okay, because if we can go back to the main Indiegogo page, there is a young boy in the real world who finds this comic about Dr. Vindictus and the Cloaked Avenger and Phantom Boy, but it's a magic comic that pulls him into the story. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of got that element going on. And the story itself, the comic itself is going to be 32 pages, 28 pages of which is the story, and then we'll have about 4 pages of extras.
Sweet.
And there we can see some of
There's
the art
the young
from
lad
it.
right there.
And yes, it is. And I've got some more if you guys want to see. If you want me to go ahead and share screen here.
All right, let me get
Share
on this.
screen.
Zap back.
There we go. Well, okay. Can you see my screen?
I can pull it up.
Okay.
Right there.
Let me know when you can see it.
Yep.
Oh, nice.
All right.
Nice page.
So here we see the very opening page, and this is where the mother with her young son they're driving to a yard sale. Okay. So they're going to get to the yard sale. The kid's kind of bored because he doesn't see anything interesting there, but then the guy who's in charge of the yard sale says, well, I have a box of comics here. And so he's going to look through the box of comics and find one that looks interesting to him. And he's going to buy it and take it home.
Sure.
And that's kind of how, this is kind of how the story begins here.
Cool.
Right? And now let's see, here is the very first page that he sees when he opens up the comic. And this is one that's already been drawn, colored, and lettered. So let me zoom in here a little bit so you can see this. So we have, it was a hard rain that fell on the island city, but if it were a storm like the one that destroyed the city decades earlier, they would have ample warning by radio. Times had certainly changed in this modern era. Travis Moody, like many of his peers, prefers to ignore the storm and enjoy some dancing at the latest charity ball. But as usual in his line of work, he must be ready to drop everything at a moment's notice. The butler comes up and says, "Sir, there is a call for you." So that is the very first page within the story of Dr. Vindictus. Okay. And of course, we already saw this one here, Death Ray. Here is a not colored promo image of the Cloaked Avenger and Phantom Boy.
Cool.
And here is Dr. Vindictus promo image. Now this is another page that has been drawn and colored. It's not lettered just yet. And this one's going to be modified a little bit because we realized after it was colored that the scene is supposed to be raining in this scene, and we don't see the rain just yet. So that's going to need to be tweaked a little bit. So this is not the final version you'll see in the comic itself.
Gotcha.
But it's looking good though. And same thing here. This is going to be modified so that you'll be able to see that it's raining out and storming outside.
Cool.
Okay.
So he ends up getting.
I also have a couple of
comic.
images.
He ends up getting that comic at a garage sale, and it's pulled into the comic.
Yes, well, yard sale. Yes,
Yard sale,
he gets
yeah.
pulled into the comic. It's a comic that reads the wishes of its reader. So if the reader thinks, "I wish I could have an adventure like this," that's all it takes for them to get sucked in.
Okay.
Now, I have a couple other images for other projects I'm working on, if you'd like for me to share those with you. Now, see this comic here. Let me go back to the main page here real quick. Talk a little bit about my team, okay? Because I'm just the writer of this comic. I don't do any of the art. I couldn't draw this to save my life. If I was drawing it, it would be stick figures, and they wouldn't be very good. My illustrator is Trevor Nielsen. He's an Army aviation mechanic, and he's also a professional artist. He's worked on several indie projects. He worked with Bat and Lash on a comic called Supernatural Law, and he has a Joan of Arc comic that he's currently working on called The Lily Maid. Okay. The colorist is my wife, Serena Sketches. She's also an Army veteran, served in Korea, and she's a professional illustrator. She graduated from Ringling College of Art in Sarasota, Florida. She's also illustrated several gaming books and children's books. Now, my logo designer, this is the logo that you'll see on the cover, and I believe you can also see it on the video briefly where it says The Death Ray of Dr. Vindictus. The logo is designed by Bob Stone. He's done logos for several people, including Jawbreakers by Richard C. Meyer and Iron Sights, also by Richard C. Meyer. He's doing also the logo for another project that I'm working on called the Duskbringer Saga. And he's also designing the logo for the upcoming graphic novel, The Expendables Go to Hell by Chuck Dixon and Sylvester Stallone.
Sweet. Yeah.
So going back over here, though,
Brian Germain
I had
asks,
two more images.
Brian Germain asks, can you tell us more about the Cloaked Avenger and Phantom Boy?
Okay, so the Cloaked Avenger and Phantom Boy are your classic Golden Age hero and sidekick types. The Cloaked Avenger is kind of a Zorro-esque type superhero. He kind of has some elements of Zorro in him, but also a little bit of the Shadow, a little bit of Batman, right? But kind of mingles all those elements together, right?
Gotcha.
So he's a rich guy like Bruce Wayne, but not Bruce Wayne, obviously. His look harkens more to kind of a mix of Zorro and the Shadow, I would say, probably.
From Facebook, I was asked is Dr. Vindictus, is it a one shot or continued arc? I believe this story.
This one is a one shot.
Okay.
This story is a one shot. However, it being a Magic comic book, and I'm not going to go too much into spoilers, but let's just say I leave it open at the end to where the comic book could get picked up by someone else. And it being a Magic comic book, if someone picked it up and got pulled into it, it wouldn't necessarily be the same adventure. The comic book itself could change.
Kind of like how Jumanji changes forms from time to time. That's pretty cool. We talked about that on the Breakfast Buzz, and you had mentioned that, and I thought, wow, that's cool. That's gives you opportunity to tell different stories in different eras. I mean, if I picked up that comic, chances are I'm gonna get sucked into a '90s Jim Lee era, story with big buttons and circle template breast, and
electrical powers.
Yeah, I have electrical powers. Yeah, I wouldn't want to leave. David Supreme says, "Hello, everyone. Hello, Dave."
Hello, Dave.
And then Brian Germain said, or Brett Reed. Brett Reed.
Green Hornet.
Who?
Okay, so here, this is actually from another project I'm working on. This one's not colored yet. This is the cover to issue 1 of the Deskbringer saga. This is one I'm working on with my wife. She's doing all of the art on this, the pencils, inks, and colors.
Okay.
Except for the cover. This cover here is going to be colored by Kyle Ritter.
Okay. That's cool. I like the way
this is good.
I like that seal that he's the main character here, the character in front here standing on.
Oh yes,
I like that.
Yes. The those runes are actually based off of a mixture of the Elder Futhark runes mixed with the Etruscan alphabet. So I created a kind of a runic alphabet that pulled elements from both of those, and that alphabet will be seen at different places within the story. This fantasy world that this is set in, I've been building for going on 5 years now, and this is one story within a much larger world. Mm-hmm. But this story itself is going to be 10 issues, each of them 30 pages in length.
Ooh,
and it's probably going to take up the next few years for us to get all these out.
Yeah, how was it?
The main character here that you see. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
How is it working with your wife on the book? Is it? Do you find that to be a little bit more taxing, or? Well,
no, we work well together. She's a bit of a perfectionist, but that's good. That's a good thing. Sometimes I wish she was a little. Sometimes as a writer, you wish your artist was a little less of a perfectionist, because you're like, let's go ahead and get this out there. But it is good to want to have it looking perfect before you get it out. There's something to be said for that. It's just striking the balance between the two.
I've joked with some of the artists, even some of the ones here in this room, about doing a project with their wives, and normally I get a quick, head shake, no way. Randy's wife is a big time reader, and Randy knows she has a story in her. You said Randy she just doesn't want to tell it. She just doesn't want to write it.
No, she doesn't feel that she's got the capabilities of doing it.
And Eric, would you consider doing a story with Margaret?
She will tell you. She'll be the first to tell you that she has no creativity whatsoever. So I got psychological hurdles to get over before we'd ever even attempt to answer that question.
I got sucked into it. But I got sucked into just like doing small work. So because I know good and well that I'm not doing a book with my wife. Like, I can't sit down with you and do a book. I will have strangled both of us. Like, I'm pretty sure I strangled myself after do a book with her. It's just not happening.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. It just because look, there are rules. Yeah.
After
After all I've done, that's what it takes. Yeah, well, surely that can't be what it took. Dave says, "Oh, gee," shaking my head. Yeah, see, Dave want to do a book. Well, Dave does a whole book with his entire family almost. So, Brian says, "I
Well,
can."
I have a question.
Hmm?
I have a question for the listeners, if you would, real quick. Listeners, what types of creatures or races would you like to see in a fantasy world?
Yeah, let's see what they put in the chat. And Indie Vote listeners on Indie Vote Radio, you can feel free to send me in those questions as well, or statements, or what.
How many people we got listening right now?
Listening right now, we are up to 4,182 to 84. Right now on the lead is our good old friends over in Japan. Hello, Japan. How are you guys? Yeah, so that's where we're at right now. Germany is right behind them. So yeah, I mean, me personally, I would like to see. I like creatures with wings. I like and I do like unicorns. That's kind of weird, I know. Unicorns.
Well, I actually have three races that have wings.
Okay.
In this world, one of them is the fairies. They don't really have true flight. They use the wings more for gliding. Well, they can fly in place briefly, just not for long periods of time.
Mm-hmm.
All right, because they get worn out. There is another race called the Atbir, and they're like bird people. Okay, so imagine their heads, their hands, and their feet are like birds, but other than their hands, everything from the neck down to their ankles is human-like, except for the fact that they got these big bird wings coming out of their back too.
Okay,
that's the Atbir, and then the Anko basically look like humans with wings. They kind of have some kind of an angelic look to them.
Brian Germain said, I can relate. My wife is a dang good writer, but trying to get her to write a script for me is not happening. Also, strangling variant, at least use safe words. I will. Rob Anderson's taught me the use of safe words and how important they are. I've been playing Dungeons and Dragons 39 years, so anything really. What do you guys think?
Oh, here's another view of Nox, the main character, by the way, the color version here.
Okay. Now, who are the colors on this version? Who are the colors on this one done by?
It's Serena. She's doing all the art. She's doing pencils, inks, and colors. The only image where the colors are not going to be done by her is just the cover.
Okay. Mythology.
And that's just the cover on the very first issue too. We've got color lined up to do that.
Now you got 46 days left on Dr. Vindictus. Was it 40? I think I seen 46 days, Randy. Was that it?
Sorry. Whatever's there on that.
It's
49.
49
days.
49 days left. Yeah.
So we definitely need to get this book over. It's a fantastic looking book. We need to get it to its you got a fixed goal of 5,500. We gotta do what it takes to get that book over. I think that it's got a very bright future ahead of it. In a way, and I was looking at their art style.
Well, even if everybody just backed it for the $10 tier,
yeah,
right. 300 people, or actually just over 300 people. I think 320 thereabouts, and that would do it. But
Eric, you had an Indiegogo campaign, and I know that you're getting ready to. You guys are pretty much at the end of it right now in terms of like about to fulfill and everything. What kind of advice would you give Dr. Laura here now at $399, so basically $400 of his goal, but he's got he needs 5,500. What kind of advice would you give him?
At this point, I would pound the pavement every day.
Mm-hmm.
Get on every single show you can, do every podcast you can, email, message everybody in your Facebook friends list, do whatever you can, because we kind of started our campaign. We started promoting our campaign when we launched. That was the biggest mistake that we made. So for my new book coming out later on the fall, I'm already starting to advertise and talk about that now. So I'm really hoping that is the seed change that I need to get it funded, because we didn't fund, and we had a licensed character, Roddy Piper, totally legit licensed project. No reason it shouldn't have gone over well, and it was just a hard, awkward thing to get the word out. Now that we're past it, we're having people come back. Oh, I wish I'd have heard about this. I wish I'd have jumped on this when it was doing. Is this good for sale yet? So those are the questions that we're answering now. But yeah, man, I really hope this works out for you. I love the concept. I'm a huge Golden Age, especially sci-fi, but I love all the mystery and the horror and all that stuff from the 40s and 50s. And this just really sings for that. So I want to see this project out. And every time I see you up on my Twitter, I'll retweet this project out as much as I can.
I really
one other thing I would like to also say. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
go ahead.
Oh, one other thing I'd also like to say to the listeners out there: if this Golden Age comic maybe isn't the thing that you're looking for, but maybe you're interested in the fantasy, right? Helping back the Golden Age one, or at least spread the word on that will actually help us down the road with the other one too. Because each project is going to help me do the next one. That's my goal. I'm going to take the proceeds, anything that I earn over and above what it takes to get it out, right? And I'm going to push that onto the next project and the next project, right? To help make those a reality. I have several projects lined up. I'm working on two different comic series with a guy named Bob Stone, who's my logo artist on this one. I've also working with Jeff Lasley on another project. It's called Eridani, or Escape from Eridani. So if you follow him on Twitter, you'll be able to see some previews of that. He's already starting to put some of those up. And I've got several others lined up as well. And those run the range from military sci-fi to sci-fi horror to fantasy and everything in between.
Are we? I wonder if with all the sorry, I'm getting like tons of messages now. With all of the stories that you have planned, do you ever feel as though maybe do you get hit with writer's block at all?
Sometimes it depends on the type of story. Some stories it just keeps coming, you know, like especially if I've been doing a lot of world building, like this fantasy one. I didn't have as hard a time writing it, but I had been doing world building for quite a while before I even sat down to write it. So having already done a lot of the world building for it, that made it easier to write a story set in that world. When you're creating a story from scratch, it just depends too on how deep you're going with the story. If you're writing it more as just kind of popcorn entertainment, or whether you're trying to tell something that's a bit more deep, a bit more serious. And also, I find that speculative fiction, where you're writing something that takes place in the future, that's easier to write than writing something that is set in the past. I have two novels right now, one of which is completed and one of which is at probably about the 2/3 point. I've got about 2/3 written on. The one that I've finished, I actually started 3 years after the one that's not finished. But the one that's finished is a post-apocalyptic novel set after a nuclear war in the near future, right? And with that kind of story, you can kind of make up what happens, right? And who's to say how something like that would play out, right? The other story, though, is a alternate history story set in Texas in the 1830s, where the premise is someone goes back in time and gives modern rifles and machine guns to the defenders of the Alamo.
Yeah.
And how would that change history, you know? So yeah, it's speculative fiction, but it's set in a historical period, so you still have to get a lot of details correct as far as the setting.
and Brian Germain had said that he's currently more interested in the golden age feeling one, which is yeah. I mean, I think that everyone should hurry over there and back Dr. Vindictus or the death of Dr. Vindictus. So I'm just gonna probably always call it Dr. Vindictus.
You can find that under Dr. Vindictus over on Indiegogo.
I did find one of our other questions, Randy. I'm gonna put up on screen right now, and it's actually our question of the day from our good friend L. Nolan. It was actually going to be what frames this whole episode, because I want to kind of get into this and talk about this a little bit. And me and you had mentioned it, and I promised earlier to people listening on another show that this is going to be our topic for today, or one of the big the questions that we cover. And it's from L. Nolan. I put up on the screen now for you, Randy.
Say it with me, boys and Lola. Indie comics creators don't need publishers. The day of the publisher is dead. L. Nolan. Thanks for writing in, L. Nolan.
I mean, do we even need distributors? I saw that Peter Samiti announced that he's got 130 comic shops for direct distribution for Alterna. So,
what do you say, Lola?
I said, I'm not dead. I'm a publisher.
Well, let me say this first, and then I'll let you guys have it. I think that some of the publishing models are definitely dead. You're gonna have to ask yourself at some point, what do you, if you're looking for a publisher, exactly what do you want out of your publisher? Because some people don't even know what a publisher does. Some people, I mean, I've had people come to me, and I'm sure Randy will tell you this. People come to me, hey, I've got a story. Okay, pitch it to me. Tell me your story. And they'll sit down with you and they'll tell you your story. And you're like, that's a great story. I'd publish that. Okay, great. I want $400 a script. And you're like, what? Look, that's not how this works. I had a gentleman come to me. He thought I was going to pay him to write his own creator-own story. Find an artist. Pay the artist. Like, it was just pie in the sky. Candyland. Like, I was gonna cover everything for him, and when he found out that wasn't the case, he got mad at me. Like, no, that's not how this works. So you're gonna have to, if I'm an indie creator and I've got a book, first of all, I'm gonna need to go get the book done. If I'm just a writer, I'm gonna have to go get it drawn, inked, lettered, colored, printed. But now what you could do is if you get to the point where the art is done, the lettering is done, the book is done, you could then maybe start talking to publishers. But you have to figure out, what's that publisher going to do for you? Are they going to put your book in the faces of people who would not see your book? Can you not afford to get it to the people that that need to get it? Because you only have so much money. Can you go to every convention? Can you go? Eric does a number of conventions every year. A touring artist like Eric with a book does not necessarily need a publisher. It was a financial burden off of Eric, maybe a little bit, but at the same time, Eric's going state by state by state with that book, hitting these large shows. So he's not going to need a publisher to really push his book, other than maybe if that publisher had distribution channels that he couldn't get into, or that publisher could get his book overseas. Eric is going to also know he's going to take a bit of a loss, because he's going to have to pay that publisher. That publisher is going to be like, hey, if I got to get your book over and translated into Japanese or into German or whatever, I'm gonna have to that's cost me money, and I'm gonna need that from you, Mr. Hodson. So he's gonna have to fork over that cash. Also, a publisher, again, they're gonna go places that you can't go. They're gonna get into buildings that you can't get into, whether that's San Diego Comic-Con. But some people don't understand that. They don't know what a publisher's for. They think a publisher's there to make all their dreams come true. And while they are, I think that we have to be realistic of what that is, what those dreams are. Daniel Pip says, "I'm a writer. I am with a comic group, but I can't seem to find an artist to work without being paid up front. The problem is I can't find an artist that will work for a percent of the profits." Oh, Daniel, that's going to be difficult in this day and age because an artist not getting paid up front, he's going to start to. He might not do the project, or he's gonna feel that he's gonna get screwed over. What do you? I mean, Eric, you're an artist. Go ahead.
Okay, well, this is a good example of where crowdfunding steps in. So, this gentleman who has a great idea, he believes it's a great idea. He needs an artist. So, Daniel, here's what you need to do. You need to save up some money, find somebody who can do 3 to 6 pages of your story. As an example, get those 3 to 6 pages paid for out of your own pocket, and then launch your crowdfunding campaign. Start doing, do pages that you can easily pull advertising material from, cool panel shots. Doesn't even need to be the final pages that are in the book.
Right.
But get what you can for promotional material and raise the money to pay your employees, because that's what's happening. You go into a contract with an artist. They are now your contractor. They are an employee of you, and they need to feed their families as well. This is not something that we just do because, we can just do it. We just do it for the fun of it. This is a business. This is how we live. This is how we feed. This is how we pay our rent. So definitely take these words to heart. There's no idea out there that is so amazing that somebody of any worth is going to sit down and do it for free. They're not going to take that big of a risk, not in these days especially. If you can find somebody doing this as a straight out hobby, doesn't need any money, has no time frame, maybe. But anybody who's actually out here working, trying to build a name for themselves, they're not going to do this for free on the hope that your book will make profit. There's no way to guarantee that. There's no way to guarantee that that person gets back this time. Your average comic book page, assuming this is a color page, 10 to 20 hours from start to finish, just from going from your script to something that is publisher worthy. So I would find somebody who is in your economical price bucket, wherever your wallet's at, whether it's somebody who'll do it for $20 a page, Lord help them, or somebody who'll do it for $60 to $100 a page. Find somebody of quality, of worth, get 3 to 6 pages paid for, done, start promoting the hell out of it, raise the money to put out a quality product, and then you'll be on your way.
That's good advice, Eric. That's good advice. Did anybody else, Randy, did you want to weigh in on that at all?
I think Eric covered Daniel's problem very well.
Mm-hmm.
What I wanted to do is go back to the
publisher question?
back to the question.
Yeah.
L. Nolan's question.
Mm-hmm.
Indie comic creators don't need publishers, but indie comics creators are becoming publishers.
Mm.
You're seeing a lot of people out there that start with one book, very much like what Dr. Lore is out to do. Do one book that he's hoping to turn into 2 books, that he's hoping to turn into 4 books or more, and become publishers themselves. Go out and find the guys that Daniel is looking for. Also, pay them that page rate, get them in, because not everybody wants to do their IP. You know, nobody. Very few people out there are the entire package, you know, and you'll find some guys
speaking
that
to Daniel's
write,
question also,
some guys who want to draw, you know.
Speaking to Daniel's question, the reason why this one is finished is because I was able to go ahead and pay an artist to do the art, right? But I mean, and that's why this one's done, and some of the other ones are still kind of in the works, but not much has actually been done on them. It's because I can't pay the artists yet, right? That's why I'm hoping to have a successful campaign here, and that this campaign will help fund another paying another artist for the next campaign, and then the next campaign, and build off of that.
Right. Josh says Josh laughs, and then he says my laughter is at the percentage art pay. Daniel says, so the writer / creator has to eat all the expenses if the project falls through.
I mean, it's your project. This is your baby. Somebody that you're trying to hire to get the art done. This is just a job to them. So it's like if you go to a restaurant and you order.
What I would suggest with
If you go to a restaurant and you
sorry,
order
go
some
ahead.
food, it's not, if the restaurant is a terrible disaster, if your food is not prepared well, it's not the waitress's fault. Okay, the waitress is there to do a job, to serve you. The waitress didn't cook the food. The waitress isn't running the place. It's on the onus of the person running the place ultimately. And Daniel, as somebody who is hiring a staff to create his dream vision, which it very well could be the next Superman for all we know, but there's no guarantees. So yes, in fact, you need to, at least in the beginnings, be the one who comes up with this. If this is something that you really want, you got to fight and you got to claw for it, and that means you got to have skin in the game.
The owner of the IP is going to take the largest burden.
Exactly.
That's just a simple fact.
But you also stand to make the largest profit if it is a success.
Very
Because
true.
once you're hired artist,
That's true.
like I could get hired at $150 a page for a 24-page comic book, and I just sign on the dotted line that all I'm doing is the art. This gets picked up by Netflix. I don't see any of that money, but you do. So that's what you got to think. You got to think long term. Are you in this for the long term? Yeah, then go for it. If you really believe in your project, go for it.
One thing I have, one thing that I've also been doing with some of the contracts I'm coming up with for my artists too. And this is kind of as an enticement, is for in return for maybe a lower page rate or something like that, they get maybe a small percentage of potential future things. So, like for instance, I'll have it in the contract where maybe their page rate might be a little less, right, for doing the initial art. But if it gets picked up for a film or something, then they get 10% or 5%, depending on how much their contribution is. If they're just doing pencils, it's different than if they're doing all the art. Obviously.
What can also work too is if you want to get an artist more immediately involved, you could say, okay, you do these pages, like Eric suggested, do these pages for the Kickstarter. If we cross this threshold, if I can get you locked on, if we cross this threshold, I will up your page rate to this amount. That'll make an artist say, okay, because I know a guy pitched me a book. He sent to me 8 pages, nicely drawn pages. I reached out to him. I said, okay, man, let's get the book done. And he joined by Anthony Figueroa. Hello, Anthony.
Anthony.
Hey, how y'all doing, man?
Pretty good.
Good, man.
Anthony.
And the gentleman sent me these pages, and I was ready to go. And then I sent them contracts over, and I didn't hear from him for 5 days. And then I messaged him, sent him an email, like, "Hey, what's going on, buddy?" And he says, "Man, I'm sorry, my colorist abandoned the project." I said, "No problem. We can find a new colorist." Okay, great. 2 days later, my penciler has also abandoned the project. I'm very sorry. And I'm like, okay. Well, I know another, and Lola remembers this. I'm like, I know another artist I can give you guys. I hook you guys up. He reached out to that artist, and then he said, okay, I like that artist. We've talked. When will the project start? I'm like, well, I don't know. What's the deal with him? I have to pay. It's like, yeah, you have to pay him. I'm not gonna pay him to do. And this guy, he always sends me a pitch, but it's always like 4 or 5 pages, and that's it. And then if you ask him to move forward, I think he wants you as a publisher to, pay for the pages. I'm like, that's not how this works.
And that's where the pitch and move forward model, like, just get the opening segue onto the Kickstarter or Indiegogo and see if the audience wants it. If there's an audience for it, they'll bring the money, and then you've got the capital to move forward.
Right. Daniel says, but that is where the percent contract comes in. If it does go to Netflix, the entire team makes the same money.
Sure, and that can be a good incentive. But again, if you don't already have a relationship with someone as an artist who shares your dream, shares this vision of this property you're trying to create, you're not going to find somebody to just hire who's going to take that risk, because there's a lot that's involved, especially on the art side. Again, 10 to 20 hours a day, page a day, if you're spending your whole day like a work day. I come into this shop, I sit down at an 8-hour work day on average, working on the final Roddy Piper pages, working on the stuff for Dreaded Dinosaur Man for my release in the fall, starting to work on my webtoon series again so I can build that up. That's part of the advertising for the fall sequence. I'm putting in a huge chunk of time in the day to something that I am trying to get a reward for later, or, with the Roddy Piper, I've already been paid for that. That money's gone. I'm still on the hook. So I'm putting out the best quality work I can in an 8-hour day. So if you're just looking to hire somebody, this draws up a lot of red flags immediately. In the art community, we've all heard it before. We've all, forgive me for saying this, I'm not saying this is you, but we've all been suckers before into thinking that we're going to make this big payday and it all goes away. I've been in 3 different organizations trying to start something, and it's usually somebody's ego or unprofessionalism ruins the whole thing.
Hubris,
exactly. And so for somebody in my position, I hear somebody coming like you, I don't know you from Adam, I don't need to know anything about the story. You telling me it's all a back end deal, that's an instant no for me, because I've been burned so many times in the past. And honestly, my wife is working double time at her job. I'm out of work because the convention's over. I need to bring in income now, today. I can't wait for tomorrow's income. I don't have that luxury. If you can find somebody that you can have a relationship with, someone who you can work with, who can share your dream, that doesn't need to make grocery money today, Godspeed, go for it. Just promise me you don't screw the guy over in the end.
Yeah, and too, I mean, and there are artists out there who are looking for, they will take a lower payment. I know a fantastic artist right now who's he had a deal a couple weeks ago, $25 a page. It was all pencils, but he's a capable artist. $25, and I'm like, dude. But the problem was he wanted, well, for most people, he says, look, I'll do $25 a page, just pencils, but I need everything up front. So I mean, technically you could have got, the whole book done, but Randy shook his head. No, Randy, is that a problem?
Yeah.
Okay.
That is what they call a cash grab.
Wait.
Any publisher.
So you wouldn't do $25 a page if it was like a 22-page book, if it was all up front? Like, just, I mean, not you, but like you wouldn't.
I would happily do $25 a page as soon as each page is turned in.
Yeah, you've got to, like, what we're doing right now with Piper is we have a colorist who's doing the finishing work on top of my flats. Again, this is to take the workload off me and to get this book done even quicker and get it out the door. We're paying him out of our pocket to get this finished up and wrapped up, and it's on a 10-page basis, so that we don't waste all this time waiting on pages to come in, lose money, then heaven forbid we have to find somebody else, because this is our third colorist so far he's working fine, but the first 2 flaked out. And that goes back to our earlier points with professionalism. If you tell me I'm going to do the work, I expect you to do the work. If you tell me, it should be okay, what does that mean? I got money into this. I have to pay you to finish these pages. You're telling me you should be okay to do it? I can't accept that answer. I got a deadline. I'm past my deadline.
Josh says, put it this way, Daniel. I've hit his way. Hey, Daniel, if I want you to write me a comic for no pay, but I'll give you percentage if it succeeds, but you have to work on my schedule and deadline. Daniel says, I have already written a comic for no pay. And yeah, I mean, just you're gonna have a hard time finding artists to do it for no pay.
Yeah, the comic you've written for no pay, you've already written on spec because you own the IP.
Yeah. Well, I mean, unless it was someone else's book. I mean, you could have wrote someone else's book for no pay. Anthony, are you willing to get the deal where you I don't know, you weren't here for Daniel's original question, but he says he's a writer, he's working for a comic group, he can't seem to find an artist to work without being paid up front. The problem is I can't find an artist that will work for a percentage of the profit. I had an artist that I was working with, and the deal had been made before the project came to me, but the gentleman was paying the artist up front. And the artist was capable, and the artist, it was a decent price. I mean, it was pencils, colors, and inks for a nice price, but he was paying it all up front. The artist had this particular artist had taken advantage of the situation and got the money all up front, and was, like, he was dictating terms in a way. But would you be okay with that? Are you okay working for a percentage?
Okay, you asking me right now, am I okay with working for a percentage plus pay or just straight percentage?
Well, I think the question was what it was. Eric was it?
Yeah, he's looking for somebody to work straight back end percentage pay.
Or is this a is this an already established lucrative property, or is this an untested, unknown property?
We are assuming untested and unknown.
Then no. What do you? I mean, you're asking me to buy into stock that has no value, and the risk is all. And I'm taking a risk. What's my risk versus reward? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, a percentage of nothing is still nothing. So that's and again, it depends on who you're dealing with. Is this someone who's had a venture before, who has had a successful venture, who has made money before? Is this someone who's never put a book out before, never done anything before? I mean, all that stuff goes into play. I mean, if like you're saying, if someone comes up and says, "Hey, I have this new idea." Let's just say, for example, Ethan Van Sciver says, "Hey, I have this idea for this new book. No one's ever seen it before. It's a completely brand new thing, but I think it's going to work." I'd be like, "Sure, I think it's going to work too." You know what I mean?
Yeah, because he's proven himself to be a money maker.
Right.
He knows what he's
Correct.
doing. He's a good businessman. So
that's, I mean, and again, it's not, and I think Eric was kind of hinting on this. I mean, it's nothing personal. You know what I mean? I think there's a lot of young single starting out artists who are willing to do that. I know I was when I was a young single, artist.
Again, we've all been suckers. We've all been there.
But even in like you said, even in that, it's even if I haven't been, it's I have bills to pay. I mean, this is a business to me now. So I'm not looking to, like, again, buy into someone's dream and things like this. I'm trying to make a career out of this, and I have to make money and I have to pay bills.
Even if you,
so percentage wise,
even if you find an artist who would be willing to do that, they're probably not going to be willing to commit to a big project, maybe a small one. And even then, they're going to have to go slowly because they got to work on other stuff on the side to pay their bills. So the only reason an artist would agree to that, I think, would be if it was something that they just really liked doing, but even still, they would have to
That's You have
to show a lot more patience, and not.
That's
expect,
a whole nother. That's a whole nother aspect, because why would you? Then you get into a whole nother aspect of, you're not going to pay me any money. Where's my incentive? I mean, human nature is like that. I don't care what anybody says. I don't. If it's not your pet project to which you are, I mean, seriously invested in, your incentive to get it done is waning, which is the same reason why when the question was asked about being paid up front, Randy and I shook our heads, because again, if I pay you up front, where's the incentive for you to actually do the work? You already have. It's like paying somebody on Monday. Yeah, we got a lot of work to do this week. Oh, I'm sick. I don't think I can come in.
Tuesday for a hamburger today.
Right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know what? I worked at General Motors for a number of years, and our payday was Thursday. And I remember, Friday, I'm like, "Whoa, absenteeism is gonna be a bitch." Because, you letting me out of here with money on Thursday night? You realize I'm going to come back tomorrow, right? And I recall there was times where if it was a holiday, Like it was like for instance, Christmas, we were getting out super early. They gave us our checks on Monday, and you're right. You're right, Anthony. I walked in on Monday, got my check, and I'm like, tomorrow's the last day of work is Tuesday, but do I really need to go back? Daniel says, the reason I have for doing this is that I have paid for an artist 3 times so far and have gotten screwed each time. And
That's
Daniel,
why you pay as you go.
yeah, you pay,
and not if you're paying them up front. Yeah, you will. But if you pay them as you go.
You know what you can do, Daniel, is when you enter agreement with an artist for their page rate, you say, okay, we have a deal. Here we go. You could do a good faith payment if you want it. Okay, let's say the page rate is $100. Oh, $50. Okay, $50. Send them 25 of it. That artist will do it. He'll send you, the roughs, maybe low res roughs, or maybe the page is a low res page. Then pay him the rest. But get a rapport with this artist.
Yeah, you need to have a working relationship with the person that you're doing business with, because in a contract, you need a contract.
Yeah, if you send him $25 and he never responds to you, then okay, well, you lost $25, but it's not that big a deal. Also, Daniel, I hate to say it like this, but I'm going to say it. This I don't know if this is your first comic or not, but he's done that, or he's done that as well. Got one page and disappeared.
If on behalf of artists, I'm sorry. This community is rife with people who don't even know what the word business means.
I got an idea. All 6 of us are in on this because we're here right now. Let's start an Angie's List for comic book community.
Great idea.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? That's the issue here.
I was talking to my writer today for Piper. He's got a short list of 30 people he will never work with again.
Yeah.
There you go.
Screwed so many times.
Yeah. Make sure that you, Daniel, try to find somebody in a country where they take the law seriously. I hate to say it that way, but look, there's a lot of artists.
Can you tell me, Varian, which countries do not take the law seriously? So I know which ones
in the
stay
States?
away from.
That's the question.
Nigeria doesn't give a damn about you.
Only about their princes.
That's right. So if you have
is Daniel here in the States?
Yeah, Daniel, where are you at? Yeah. I'm pretty sure you might be, but you might be in Canada. Who knows? We'll find out. But try to find someone in the country where you can, legally go after him. Who has a bird? I'm just kidding.
Dr. Laura's bird is chirping in.
The bird is the word.
Yeah.
Well, technically it's my wife's bird, but yeah.
Yeah. I haven't heard. I used to have 2 birds, Stan and Kirby, and who died first, Lola? Stan died first, and then Kirby died like a month later, 2 months later.
Kirby died
and
first.
she
Lee just passed a few months ago.
He's talking about the birds, though.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We used to have an Amazon parrot, and it was much louder than this one.
Yeah. I dated a bird breeder for a while, and she asked me, can I bring my birds to your house? And I said, yeah, sure. And I was not prepared for the amount of birds she brought to my home. And then I got asthma because of the bird seed.
I remember your bird convention story too. That was fun.
Yeah.
Soon you had an aviary.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
The advocating channel is saying this show's gone to the birds.
Yeah, this show's gone to that. And then Daniel Pip says, it is a new comic, but I have been trying to get it done since 1998. Wow. So yeah, it's time to get that book done, Daniel. Where are you from? I don't know if you got a chance to hear that question, but we want to know what country are you in? Are you in the States? Are you in Canada? Germany, perhaps? I don't know. Let us know. Everything, to join these Facebook comic groups and find an artist. Start talking to artists about who can
start talking to other writers. Find out who they've hired, who they have good experiences with.
It's in Baltimore.
Yeah. Baltimore, Maryland. Yeah. So you can find you're in the States, try to find somebody in the States or in Canada, but try to find somebody But those can't. Listen, your dollar works a lot longer over in Canada. Our dollar's worth like 15 of theirs. Anyway,
I don't know if Larry is lurking in the chat or not, but he's worked with a lot of artists. He could probably hook somebody up, at least send some names of some trustworthy people.
Yeah. And Daniel, send me a message on the Indie Vote Facebook or the Indie Vote YouTube if you're going over there. And I'll try to put some people in touch with you too. Not artists, but people who've worked with a lot of artists, and to give you some, good artists to talk to. And maybe you can tell them, look, here's what I'm willing to do. Oh, there he is. It's like Candyman. Someone say my name. And hello from B Birds, God's Gift to Comics. Boy, that's never gonna. The B Bird thing started because a guy named was it
B Bird?
B Bird.
B Bird
Wrote in and said that Larry thinks he's God's gift to comics.
B stands for booby.
But I mean, the thing is, Bieber wasn't wrong. I'm not just kidding. I'm just joking. I'm teasing Larry. But I think that it is important to go right back to this right here because Anthony didn't see it. Anthony, L. Nolan wrote in and said, "Say it with me, boys and Lola. Indie comic creators don't need publishers. The day of the publisher is dead." Randy Zimmerman says, "Not true. Well, true, but indie comics creators are becoming publishers."
I don't think the publisher is dead per se. The publisher is always going to be out there. It's just that it's evolving. The role of the publisher is evolving. The function of the publisher is now evolving, just like the function of the distributor is now evolving.
It's the same thing as with books and with TV. I mean, television, it's kind of, it's still there, but now a lot of people will just watch stuff on streaming services now, right? Mm-hmm. Same thing with books. A lot of people have turned to reading Kindle or Nook or one of those other digital platforms, for their books.
Video killed the radio star.
All those industries, they're all evolving as technology changes and progresses and markets shift around.
The Advocating Channel says, "Without Diamond, publishers are worthless unless publishers will step up and become the true salesmen of their properties."
Like I said, the job of the distributor is evolving. So,
Anthony, what do you think about that? You think the publisher did?
No, I think what Randy's saying is probably the closest. Because something like this is you're not just going to kill certain aspects of it. It's been around for so long, and I think it like anything else, it'll evolve. Like Randy said, and you'll see it turn into whichever way the money goes is what you'll see. You know what I'm saying? At some point, money is always where it's going to go. You know what I mean? Because how can you survive? If it's a business, it has to follow the money. And so times like this always are going to shift us into a mode to be innovative. Well, we have to innovate. We have to change. We have to adapt to this. And these are great times to watch this, to witness this stuff happen. I have no idea which way this thing's going and how it's going to turn out. But I'm having a hell of a time watching it. I'm just watching this thing shift and morph something that has been so, and I know even more for Randy, but for myself, watching something that has been the same for so long and watching it now just get smashed and having to readjust itself and watching the tumblers fall in and stuff like this, and what new opportunities are going to be on the horizon. It's exciting times to be in comics and to be in self-publishing and being self. If you have your own IPs, if you have your own ideas, if you have your own stuff, this is an exciting time. It's a super exciting time. So I'm excited to watch it.
Yeah.
I want to bring up this.
No answers, just just exciting.
Is anybody else getting that feedback, or is it just me?
We're hearing it from you.
Yep.
That's weird because I don't.
Was Lola muted?
Echo.
Yeah.
Lola's not muted.
Oh, is she not muted?
I can mute her
There we
here.
go.
There we
That's
go.
better. Okay.
All right.
Now she's.
In short, In short, Diamond has been a swastika-shaped
Butthole.
on this industry for far too long.
Uh,
And maybe, just
for sure.
maybe, publishers are figuring that out. And the way to open up this market a little bit is to explore different avenues of distribution, how to get those retailers, quite frankly, on a firm foundation so that they don't have to sweat 6 freaking months while a distribution company decides whether or not they want to stay around.
Guys, Lola sent me something, and I just reached out to a person to ask if it was okay if I show it. They haven't gotten back to me, but that's okay. I'd rather I beg for forgiveness than ask permission. He said, I just effing witnessed a creator refunding Kickstarter pledges to Trump supporters. Top that stupidity. And he did. He put, as a creator, putting this out there again. If you support Trump, please delete me from your Facebook friends. But he's refunding Kickstarter campaigns. And I have to message Rob about this.
Is it
Okay.
somebody big?
You didn't look into it
Fit-
too much?
No.
It's
I
not
didn't.
somebody big.
Now I
It's a-
did.
It's a Kickstarter person looking to refund anybody that.
Rob says I'm okay to cover it. So Sam Johnson, which is that Geek Girl, the Geek Girl book? You guys familiar with that? Apparently,
So the guy doesn't want business. Is that it? He doesn't want business from anyone who's a Trump supporter.
You won't stay in business like that.
But he's a pretty well-known name.
Well, everybody.
But that's a sure way to
do
kill
business
yourself.
as they please, especially if they
Yeah,
have
that's
a
not a good way to do business.
Kickstarter or a Indiegogo. But
And
Absolutely. I don't-
and this goes back to professionalism. Remember when
yes,
our boy Zach started out? Crest sells toothpaste to not neo-Nazis.
Yep.
They sell toothpaste to saints working in food shelters. So again, we're creating a product for consumers. You want to go start weeding through your consumers and say, you shall have some, you shall have some. You want to be a soup Nazi for comics? Go right ahead. You ain't going to be making much money.
It doesn't quite make much sense, because the idea that you could somehow parse out every bad, by your standards, every bad apple, and you'd have no idea what your consumers are doing behind closed doors at all.
you have no idea how much business you're going to be chasing away.
I mean, that's
okay.
Jesus.
You find out
Exactly.
on your own. It's all good.
The market will parse that out. I promise you that.
Bingo.
I don't
That's
think
exactly right.
I can't understand why you would do
Don't
that.
try to wrap your head around
Stop,
the logic,
Varian.
people.
Stop that. Stop,
Makes
Varian.
as
I'm
much
trying.
sense as a
Yeah.
Nazi-shaped butthole.
Stop, bro.
Come
There
on.
you go. Well, I don't know.
Stop, bro.
I don't know about that.
Listen to me. It's this, and I promise you, I ran into this a couple of days ago. I had a guy, and we were on a thread, and we were talking, and one of the guys on there was a gay guy, and the gay guy cracked a gay joke, and the other guy didn't know he was gay, and he said, "Hey, man, you better stop with those gay jokes, or I'll kick your ass. I'll give you a black eye. I'll bust you up." And everybody was like, "Hey, man, that guy is gay, bro." And he's like, "I don't care. You can't make gay jokes." And I'm like, "Bro, so let me get this straight. You're going to protect gay people by beating up a gay dude? Like, bro, like, how does that and it's lost on them. You know, I'm like, bro, that's a hate crime, bro. You can't, and again, that's the same logic. You're going to go tell a gay man that he can't make gay jokes about his own gayness. Like that's how ridiculous it is. That's the logic that's behind what you see happening right now. You're a Trump supporter, but you can't buy my book because you're a Nazi. It's like
I've also learned that you can't you can't push logic onto an illogical person.
no,
It doesn't
nope,
work.
nope.
It's silly after a while to try.
Brian
You
K.
just have to let
Morris.
it go.
He says, Brian K.
Correct.
Morris says, it doesn't matter if your state is red or blue. Only green matters when you are a publisher. That's exactly right. And Josh says, it's interesting to see how bigotry continues to devolve into stupidity in the guise of personal choice or belief.
Absolutely.
And here's the thing. I mean, you guys, everyone's familiar with Geek Girl here. That's the character. I'm pretty sure you've all seen it at one point or another. It's pretty popular.
No, She looks familiar, but I can tell you I've seen it.
For
Can you pull it up again?
Oh,
Yeah, sure.
that was good. That
Put
was
that up
good.
again.
Just for a second.
It's like, I mean, you know.
She's not fake. is she?
Reminds me of Sarah Palin a little bit.
I guess, you know, I mean, I just don't understand where Sam would
It's nice
get this
art.
idea to
Yeah.
to tell.
It's a
You're-
thought process driven by emotion. There's no
You're going to
thinking
cut out every
Absolutely.
customer that doesn't agree with you 100%. You're going to
You'll-
have very
yeah.
few customers.
You'll
Very
probably see it intensify as Marvel and as this whole thing teeters and starts to shift.
As
People are going to
Kool-Aid
become
is
more
suggesting.
entrenched on certain things. Yeah, and you're going to see stuff like this, especially the more ground that comics gate or that movement gets, the more success they get. You'll see people just completely, I mean, essentially committing financial suicide.
I think
You know
you're
what I
seeing
mean?
that
Over
you're
some,
seeing that already. You're seeing that.
yeah.
now. And that,
But
well, I'm
it's,
sure
I
this is
think
part
it'll
of-
intensify.
I'm sure.
I
this
think
is
it'll
part of-
intensify.
Yeah.
As little money as there, I mean, there's lots of money out there.
Stop, Varian. Stop, bro. You're gonna hurt yourself. I see you,
Yeah.
bro. You're going. It doesn't. How is this? I've been there, bro. I've been in this. This is the abyss. There is no bottom to this.
Yeah.
You will get lost in this thing, bro. It's
Yeah,
a hall of mirrors with a smoke machine running with strobe lights. It's bro. You will never get out, bro.
And there's
Ever.
this crazy midget in the corner looking at you, just laughing the whole time. Because he's in on the joke and you ain't.
I just can't imagine why you do that. Lola has to get off of here with us, but the indie princess is leaving for the night. But
Good night, Lola.
Good night, Lola.
Hi, guys.
She'll be on tomorrow at 9 p.m. on Geekgasm.
Yep, she'll be there tomorrow. She's
Because I can get rid of this headache.
she's got a headache.
Get rid of this headache.
She should. By the way, sweet, before you leave,
She'll be
Lola,
back on Geekgasm only on Indie Volt, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's if she can chase off the headache. So stay tuned.
I thought I seen you take a shot earlier.
I did.
Was it a tip?
No.
Oh, you took a shot. Okay, I thought I missed a tip that came across something. So
Hoping that the Jaeger would get rid of my headache.
no, you. Okay, I see now. Goodbye.
Bye, guys.
Have a good night, Lola.
Good night, sweetie.
Right?
Yeah, I'm just perplexed, and I like to have Sam on at some point possibly and ask him why he did that.
I would love to be on for that.
Yeah.
All we can say about that is,
Are you looking for?
I'm
You
looking
need to
for
touch
it.
screen.
I can't
You
find
need
it.
to touch screen.
Can't nobody tell me nothing.
That's what that is.
Advocating channel says, if I want to be a serious creator, you create content and say what you have to say in panels, not on Facebook, in my humble opinion.
Yeah.
Brian says, if any Trump supporters want someone who will lovingly accept your money, I am safe space.
There we go.
And Josh says, Sarah Palin ruining the geeky librarian fantasy since the 2000s. She didn't necessarily ruin them. I mean, Palin could have got it. I mean, listen. I'm
Can't
telling
put
you.
lipstick on a pig.
Listen.
I tell you what, after seeing her on a little segment of that Masked Singer, no more respect. I have no respect for her. Same.
Saying with buying supporters, I will lower your money as if it's my very own. Rob said, yeah, Rob, please do. I like to have him on. I want to talk to him about this because this is you're funding money to who? No one refunds money. Listen, Klan members. If you
Variant, listen. Look at it like this. Look at it like this, man. That guy, like you saying, has a piece, might be a small piece, but he has a piece of the market.
Mhm.
All he's doing is taking himself out and putting his piece back on the table for us to get a taste of. That's all it is. And you know, if that's what he wants to do, I don't agree with it. But as Randy said, he has every right to fail. That's the American way. He has the right to fail. So far be it from me to stand between him and failure. Let me step back, do your thing. I'll take notes on what not to do, and that's it. The market will parse all this stuff out, man. You know what I'm saying? And so I mean, I don't, you know, There's no other than that. There's no making sense of any of that stuff. Man. There really isn't.
In the end, it all comes down to this.
Can nobody tell me nothing? You can't tell me nothing.
That's the way it works.
I'm wrapping my mind around it. I can't. I'm not trying to, but it's just weird.
Don't attempt it. It's like trying to visualize your swastikas again.
You need to reboot
Just
your
stop.
host exe. Come on.
Yeah.
Daniel says, I hate to say it, but the publisher of books doesn't care if Nazis burn books as long as they pay for the books first.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
pay
pay for it's your property.
Yeah.
Yep.
Rebel says, so I saw a guy today spurg out on Facebook at another dude who likes comics over Trump. One would think we got bigger issues than your personal political beliefs. People are trying to ram down people's throats. 5 we should buy those and more likes. They get the more YouTube pushes out the video. This plus variant should make me a mod. Go for LP. I got to go in and figure out how to make mods. Frank Miller's joining us, everybody. Frank Miller.
Frank Miller.
What's
In the
up, guys?
Right.
How's it
How
going,
you
Frank?
doing?
Yeah. Well, listen, I got a question.
Duty.
The Spirit movie, The Hell.
I stand by it. I like the Spirit.
You never watched a Spirit movie.
You can't
did
do
you?
nothing.
I feel out of place. I'm on the bottom row, and I'm the only one without a cool hat.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's okay, buddy.
Get one.
Well, no, look.
I
Dr.
tried. He
Who-
keeps
on
buying
bottom
these
row.
weird
Bottom-
baseball
I'm
caps.
not wearing a hat.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
not
true.
wearing a hat.
I don't have a hat. I got a hoodie on
We
there. I'm
all
like,
need
We got the
one.
hat peoples on the on we
Variant,
got the
variant.
floor on
What's
the
up? Is this
side,
the
and
new
we got
look?
this side.
The
You know.
new
I
look
could go
be?
get my Boston Scally and put that on. I guess.
this is just like I like a GTA creative character right now.
I like it, bro. I like it. It's very like 70s, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's that? What's that?
See,
I
you see,
like it.
you guys can wear those hats. They look good on you. I try to put those on. It just looks goofy.
That's because of your hair.
Yeah, but it,
I
co-
do
Yeah,
have
you
a
look a
question
little
for you.
weird.
exactly. It covers up the dude, bro.
Has
You
anyone
can't-
ever compared you
cover
to
up
Matt
the
Frewer?
Which one?
Has
What?
anyone ever told you look kind of like Matt Frewer? Eric,
No,
do you know who that is?
I
I'm
hate
I'm
to
at a
tell you,
lack
Dr.
for who
Laura,
Matt-
but you look more like Matt
He-
Fuhrer to me than Eric does.
Oh, really?
My
Okay.
computer lens glasses.
Oh, you
Max,
gotta
I-
pull up a
I just
picture
been,
of that.
I've just been thinking Max Headroom when I see you on the screen. So
no.
All right.
It's all the squares back behind him. Yeah.
I want to rewind, recap some quick opinions super fast. All right. So, Dr. Vindictus. I had absolutely no idea there was going to be a kid never ending story punchline to it. Sounds way more fun. I'm looking forward to it. I got to preview that during Kickstarter Pause last week. As far as
Yes.
publishers are concerned, I think indie publishers are definitely going to have their own, they're going to have a lot more power and control. Yeah, they don't need publishers. They do need publishers. And respond to Danny Boy earlier as well in conjunction for working for free or working for credit. Contracts. There's amazing things that you can do. You can get into that wonderful legal thing that Varian was discussing. You can sue them if you need to, or threaten them with a lawsuit. Pay early, pay often. Start that bond. It's one of those things. Let's see what else. Fantasy. I like anything that has like a story that doesn't over tell the story. Like if you pull the Aragon fantasy world where it's like, and they gave him 2 rings, and then you spend 8 pages talking about this kid trying to solve a ring game. No, don't do that. Don't do that.
yeah.
Oh, they're magic rings.
You want the story to move
Story
forward.
distracts you from the day. No. Nobody's Tolkien anymore. I'm sorry. For one thing, we didn't have the internet back then.
we
were a lot.
now we have now we have the internet, and it's look how that's worked out for us.
Daddy force publish it.
What are we drinking tonight, Josh? Looks like you're going akimbo there.
I am drinking something called Lagunitas 12th of Never.
I tell you what, I'm not drinking anymore.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I'm not drinking anymore
Sure,
either.
Varian.
After
You did all
today,
your
the
drinking
14th
yesterday.
of never drinking this again. 'Cause
Aaron's
it is
lying.
foul.
Aaron's lying.
if you guys didn't see yesterday at 5:00, I started drinking absinthe.
Varian got the American absinthe.
Yeah, and it's
very entertaining.
yeah, the American absence from France, and
Yeah, but it's distilled here in the U.S.
yeah, never again,
But
never.
it had legit wormwood in it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, because that's
Yeah, but it's
that's-
American grown wormwood as well. It's kind of like American, mushrooms. Certain types of mushrooms that are extraordinarily expensive.
I'll tell you this: I slept
I might be a little
from
bit of a
7
snob.
o'clock to 12:32. I woke up. I did not know where I was at. Never again. And my drawing ability, I didn't remember drawing that picture. And apparently, by the way, I started taking hits off the bottle, Randy.
Uh-huh. Yes, you
No
did.
one told me.
You were
no one-
taking hits off the bottle before I left.
No one
You
told me
get to
that.
a certain point with
Straight.
absinthe, regardless of where it's produced, where you're like, I don't feel pain.
Apparently,
so you're telling me that the bottle needs a new home, and I should come up here tomorrow?
well, what happened was
Oh, he was going to bring it up to me.
I found out that apparently I told Lola that I was taking communion. She gave me some crackers to eat, and I told her I'm eating communion wafers while on the sofa, like trying to pass out.
This isn't on video. Are you crazy?
It was on live stream, but he accidentally has made it disappear.
No, this is after the live stream. No, I mean, and then what did you say else I did?
You told me you needed to drink the blood.
Yeah, I said I'm eating communion wafers and I need to drink the blood. And then I passed out. She said I was singing as well. I was singing about some song. She can't remember what song it was. And
I told you it was going to turn into the drool stream before you were done.
Yeah,
Well, Marion, you don't drink very often.
No.
From my recollection either. So
I
was
I
named
kind of
Green
feel you, but
Fairy
I
for a
feel like
reason.
this is the equivalent of handing a tequila shot to the girl in the club who's finally turned 21,
yeah.
or 21, aka 1918 with a fake ID, or just wedding.
I know, very. Now you reminded me of those hurricanes from New Orleans, bro.
Oh my gosh,
No,
he was carrying the fishbowl around like it was a child.
Hey, you know what? Enjoy it. I personally love it when people who don't drink very often do get to try those kinds of things, because it's one of those, you suddenly start realizing your own limits, and you're like, you know what? I shouldn't take this for granted, for one. And two, I'm going to make sure that they don't have a bad day tomorrow. Here,
John,
eat
John
these
guys
took
are
very good
all
care of
lucky
me
is
one
to have
time.
one
I
of
come-
Waffle House.
Well, Anthony did warn me. He did warn me. At least I didn't have the hand grenade, which I'll have that
Next
maybe
time.
next time. Advocating channel says it's cool you can have on your show variant or drunk variant.
You
Yeah,
should have sober variant planned to interview drunk variant. I would watch
that'd
that
be
show.
great.
Maybe we should
I'd do that
maybe we
with
should finish the bottle while we do your PC build.
Oh my
Oh,
god!
I love that joke. I'm not drinking any more, but I'm certainly not drinking any less.
I do want to play something for you guys real quick though. And
Is
but
that how dare you moment?
no. It's not the how dare you moment. But there's a chance I can't get it to boot up. So
Well,
I might
while
not-
we're waiting
If
for
it's-
that,
if it's the video
did
with
you
Paul-
sugar cube your absinthe?
I'm drinking
curious.
Could
coffee.
not find any.
There we go. Variant,
Couldn't
if that's
find
the
any sugar
conversation
cubes?
with Paul, you might
Yeah.
want to save that for Thursday morning.
I may have
Here you
to.
go, Dr. Moore.
Yeah.
I'm drinking this.
This is kind of, it's
And
kind of
drinking
degenerated now.
In my
It's a little
take
late.
2 pills and call us in the morning, Mad
Probably-
Hatter, March
if
Hare
we
with the
could,
laughing
We probably should have
fish.
pulled that up first thing
And-
today.
Well, yeah, but then I have those internet problems. So yeah,
I know
I'll
you
wait.
did.
I'll wait
I know
till
you did.
Friday Thursday morning
Oh,
to play
it's
that
running
one.
Thursday, yeah. That'll be good.
I do have one other question from Indie Vote Radio. In
Bring
regards
it.
to everyone here who's created a book, and I think that's pretty much everybody. This gentleman wants us to explain the U.S. copyright system and trademark system as in regards to your book, how we should go about it. I'm gonna let I seen the first person that made a reaction was Eric. So we'll go Eric, Dr. Lore, Anthony, Randy, then Josh, and then I think that should probably by the time we get through all those people.
By the time you get to me, it'll all be explained.
Yeah. Well, you want to go
Well,
first?
maybe
Probably
it's
start
fine.
with
Oh,
I
guys,
have
go.
made everybody else do all the copyright paperwork. So
What are you gonna say, Eric? I seen your face later.
I know a little bit about it, but
Okay, so, and anybody feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but according to actual copyright law in America, once you create something, you've officially establish your copyright. Now, the errance is on you to prove that you've established your copyright. So you can do something simple like mail your idea to yourself and keep it sealed, or you can file paperwork with the federal government. They will do an official check of the Library of Congress or whatever to make sure that nobody else has come up with this before. File your paperwork and it goes on permanent record. Now, a trademark, which has a higher price tag, is essentially something that is the equivalent of your legal name. So it becomes like the legal name of the entity. And that is much more actionable if somebody violates that.
And for Dread Dinosaur Man, for any of your properties, have you gone that route with anything?
Yes, everything is lock, stock, and 2 smoking barrels.
Okay. Dr. Lore, same thing? Would you echo those statements or anything else you want to add to that?
I haven't gone that far, no.
Okay.
But
About time. Need to do it. Hurry up. Anthony?
Yeah.
I've done with some things. I will say this is a quick aside.
Hi, Anthony.
One of the better things, you know,
He's
a lot of
drinking.
people
It's
have
okay.
kind of
He's
migrated
drinking.
away from
Go.
DeviantArt at
All
this
right.
point.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Anthony.
No, it's by all means, please. They can't tell the difference between us.
One of you in the hat, just say something productive.
One of you guys in the hat, pick it up.
Hold on, I think I got this. All right. Let me tell you, this is how things work here in New Orleans. This is what things
Yeah, but
do.
you sound more like you're like one of these like Italian guys. You know what I'm saying? If you want to do like a straight New
You know what
Orleans
I'm
accent,
saying?
you gotta
Sorry,
drag,
sorry,
you
I got
gotta
a little
drag
higher.
it out a little bit more. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Nolans. I'm sorry.
No, don't ever call it Nolans. That's a dead giveaway. They
You
know
sure?
you.
Not New Orleans?
No,
Listen,
Yeah.
listen. It's called New Orleans.
New
That's how you
Orleans.
say it.
New Orleans.
New
Don't
Orleans.
say it
New
fast.
Orleans.
It's like
Yeah.
Merlin.
You understand?
Don't say it right.
New Orleans, right?
It's how you
like
say it
it's
out
like
the side of your
it's
mouth,
like
Merlin.
Merliton. It's called
Baltimore.
Merliton, but you say it really fast, so it comes out like Meliton. Meliton.
Okay, we're done
Yeah,
with that.
the actual pronunciation is
Les le bon
Merliton.
ton roulé.
Les le bon temps roulé.
Mm,
See, there's also a difference between Cajun and Creole. Know that as well.
absolutely.
It's two
Not for
separate
sure.
things.
So, Randy.
The trademarks. We won't trade.
Sorry, the two hats were fighting.
And then Daniel says I have to go, but I'll send you a message, man. I have to go to work tomorrow. All right,
right,
Daniel,
Dave.
stay healthy.
Daniel. All right, Daniel.
Good night, Daniel. Thank you for
Good night.
contributing to
Stay
the show.
safe. Stay healthy.
He's gotten U.S.
Be
government
careful out
copyright.
there in Maryland. You're just about to hit your apex. So listen to your governor. At least for now.
He says he's gotten U.S. copyright for all his characters, just in case.
That's a lot of filing.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
lot of filing. You could go to a lot of money.
You can.
You know, unless you're like Marvel, who they put a copyright for everything. Because
No,
You
because
can't.
Marvel has mouse legal now.
Mhm.
They can go through that in a day. Boom. Don't do this. Do this. You can't call it that. You can call it this. That kind of thing.
I was shocked when I found out that Marvel and DC actually co-own the name superhero.
No, they think they do.
Well, but they're exercising that Marvel and DC.
No, they're trying to push their weight around
Yeah.
because they think they own the copyright to superhero,
Yeah.
superheroes, supervillain, and supervillains.
Yeah.
But really, they don't. And
But-
they don't want to bring it to court. They just try to push their muscle around to get you to back off and call it something else.
Kind of like San Diego Comic-Con.
Exactly. But what has to be done and will be done eventually, somebody with some pockets will get fed up with it and go, cool, let's go to court and find out. And then they'll see that it's just it's a regular trade name. You have to protect that trade name long enough and have always have protected it. Marvel and DC have not done that because Archie's had superheroes. There's been countless amount of companies out there that have printed and used the term superhero. So they're a little screwed when it comes to their idea. They think they own it. They want to push like they own it, but they don't really own it.
You know, I hope to one day have as much legal power as the mouse of Indie Vote, so people can say, that logo ain't a fist for nothing.
Yeah.
Um,
There's a lot of gray area that Marvel and DC have that they like to push around on that they don't really own. If it were to go to court, with proper lawyers and a proper judge, unlike the Diamond decision that came down. But they would be surprised. That's why you see all of this stuff, especially when it comes to rights, Superman, Superboy rights with the Siegel and Schuster and all that, and Simon and Captain America, miraculously all gets settled out of court really quick right before it goes in front of a judge, because they know how much power they have, and their lawyers aren't stupid. They know the letter of the law, but they don't want to push it because they don't want a definitive definition, especially when it comes to these rights, or they're going to be screwed. And they know that they're going to be screwed. So they just wait a minute, before we go in the courtroom, what if we were to do this? What if we were to give the estate this much money and do this and this and this? Would that make you happy? Cool. Let's sign that and let's go. They can't stand to have that judgment. They're scared to death of it.
Indie Vote Radio, 7,210 people listening. Really appreciate you guys.
Each and every one of you.
Germany right now in the lead. France, the UK. Appreciate you guys listening. Bring up Dr. Lore. Bring up his comic one more time for me, Randy.
Will do.
And we're going to talk about it just a little bit more. The Death Ray, Dr. Vindictus. Again, you guys got 49 very short days to get this book funded. We need to get it up there. He's got a fixed goal, 5,500. And I think, when you scroll down, Randy, for me?
There's not much down there other than lettering.
August 2020. So
August 2020.
The story about a young boy who finds the Golden Age comic. And I lost it.
Finds a comic capable of wish fulfillment.
Yeah.
Tell it, Dr. Lore.
Go ahead.
Yeah, basically the comic is able to interpret whether you want to have an adventure, and if you want to have an adventure, you get pulled into the comic world.
Yeah, it's a great looking book, great looking property. I really hope it goes successfully. I would say definitely get in and hammer the Golden Age.
Look at that artwork.
Fan collector groups. Because
I'm going to be tweaking the main page a little bit over the next day or so. So like the section on the story, I'm going to be moving that up to the top, above the About Us part. I'm also going to be adding a few more illustrations, including 3 full pages that are fully inked,
nice,
colored, and lettered, including that one I showed you guys earlier. And I'll go ahead and show you that again real quick.
Do you have the cover too? Is the cover done?
The cover is it's done but not colored. It's drawn but not colored. Yeah.
Can we see it?
Let me see if I even have it here.
I want to see the cover.
Yeah, your cover is your selling point, man. You get that up there as fast as you can.
I heard a rumor. I'm not sure how true it is, but I heard a rumor that if you get to 5,500 before in the next 30 days, I heard there's some Dr. Vindictus trading cards in there. I'm just saying that's what I heard. He's like, what? Who says about trading cards?
And you're setting at 400, and you need 5,000 or 5,500 as your fixed goal, and you have 49 days left on this campaign. So, folks, you need to look it over and decide whether or not you want to back this and back it. Back it at the highest level you possibly can. It looks great. Look at the professionalism here in the artwork.
Earlier, and I did the Kickstarter pause, but I haven't actually looked at the page itself, and I'm continue to be lazy. Since I have the creator here, at least I can ask him some questions. So, as it stands, what are your backings right now? Is it just like a single issue, and then you get a bunch of random prints from character model design art and stuff like that, or like what's going on?
Right now, we have 5 tiers. The first tier is a single issue of the comic. The second tier is two copies of the comic. Third one is a signed copy of the comic.
Okay.
And then we have the 4th and 5th are both the same price, and you can be drawn into the comic. In fact, if you want to pull up my screen that I'm sharing here, I'll show you where one of the places you can be drawn in is.
Is it in the ballroom?
Right. If you want, I'm sharing my screen right now. If you want to
all right,
pull that up real quick.
Yep.
Okay. So you can see this here.
Nice. Yeah, I figured that may be
This
the case.
panel right here.
Mhm.
This panel right here is where you would be in the background as a character
The,
walking past.
The
Okay.
professor and the ladies and the lady and the Lamont Cranston. Gotcha.
Right.
That's pretty
There,
cool.
now there's another place. There's another place later on where you could be drawn in as a goon if you choose that tier.
Oh, cool. Now, as far as the signatures are concerned, is that literally all of the creative entities, including yourself? Is that like an all signed, all, you know, hey, here's the colorist, here's the penciler, here's the so on and so forth, or is it just the writer?
Right now, it's just the writer. It'd be we could probably do we could probably do the writer and the colorist. The artist is overseas at the time. Like he's overseas he's deployed overseas, so he couldn't. It'd become logistically difficult to do that.
Is he in Incheon as well, or just somewhere else?
I'm sorry. He's overseas. He's overseas. Yeah. I don't know if I want to.
No, that's fair. You know, hey, you know, sometimes people are concerned about that, security forces. Well, as far as, you know, so we got some issues, and then you can get drawn into the issue as far as options. Varian brought up a really good point. One of the good ideas would be like, hey, maybe some character bio promo cards that are only available through Kickstarter. Maybe
that might be something we could look into. We'd have to see what the would have to be a stretch goal, though, you know, because as things stand right now, that goal is just enough to be able to get it out to everybody.
Mm.
Right, to just cover it. We're not going to be making any. If we hit $5,500, we're not really going to be making any money.
Now, does Indiegogo cover shipping, or do you have to cover that on yourself?
Well, the shipping is added on there because see that the $10 that's not counting the shipping. The shipping is $6 US, $20 if you're overseas.
Okay.
I just kicked in.
But that goes for every tier. That goes for every tier though, and also the $200 tiers. You also get a signed copy with that.
That's pretty good.
So it's not just getting drawn in. You get drawn in plus you get a signed copy.
Nice.
Eric, what did you say?
I said I just kicked in for it just to get him over there. $3.99.
Oh, did you? Oh,
so I'm back at number 21.
Thank you.
Backer number 21. There we go. Look at that. Boom. Science.
Sorry, I was doing the Indie Vote Power Fist, but I don't.
Hey, gotta do what you gotta do.
Good. Yeah, oh, there we go. Okay. Now, there we go. Oh, there we go. All right. So now with that done, and your book, August 2020, we're expecting to see it. It better ship. Are you prepared? Are you gonna do all the fulfilling yourself? I think last time we talked, you said you're gonna do it all.
That's what we're looking at. Yes.
Okay.
Unless we can find a fulfillment company that will be able to do it for the amount that we've got set up for it.
Okay.
But I need to find a fulfillment company that's close enough, I think, in order to be able to do that.
Yeah.
What we might do is see if we can get a fulfillment company for all but the signed copies, maybe, and just have the signed copies sent to us, and then we fulfill those.
Yeah.
So that might be what we do.
Some of the fulfillment companies, you gotta watch them because they'll fill your book all right. They'll throw that bad boy.
You to death.
Yeah, they'll hicks you. Put your book in the mail, stamp a sticker on the back of it, ship it out, and people will get your book all bent up, and you will be unhappy.
Oh man, I wanted a shipping catalog. This is fantastic.
Yeah. The golden age.
Stamp your name and the address on the back. You know.
Yep.
Yeah. I think that we brought that up on Indie Vote about 3 or 4 months back.
Yeah, and that's books.
We actually did that with the book.
That's what we call the Stealing Solo special.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
The Stealing Solo special. Apparently he's getting the fix now though. He's getting the fix. Everything's good.
So he said, "We'll see."
Dr. Vindictus again, ladies and gentlemen.
Only time will tell.
Indiegogo, the death ray, Dr. Vindictus. I'm
Rock
gonna
it up.
put it in the video. I'm gonna put it at the bottom in the description so you can go over there and click and back that book. Check it out. It is a fantastic book. I can't wait to get my copy. I'm going to read it and I'm gonna make Dr. Lure actually. I'm probably gonna have Dr. Lure and Scott Rosema do the voices for it and read it to me every night before I go to bed.
Meanwhile, at the Legion of Doom.
Yeah. Speaking of books, a man who's been hard at work on his book too, Mr. Figaro.
I was just about to ask that too.
Anthony's been slaving away.
Who was just about to ask?
Yeah, he's Anthony's to the point now where he's actually second. He's not even second guessing himself anymore. He's third and fourth guessing himself, which is great. Which is great as an artist. But I feel bad for him. Like, oh man, he's gonna crash because like we're having like these discussions about like I think I need to turn that face a little bit more, and he's right. And then I'm like, Anthony, leave him alone. And then he does it, and it looks 10 times better. And I'm like, well, he knows what he's talking about. Anthony does really good work on that book. And God's hand, there it is. Oh, and then it went away. It was there.
Wow,
man. Then it went
Snooze you lose.
Just
Come on, dude. Do your
close
job.
right there. Very good.
Look at that. Look at that backing. Woo!
$11,581. It is gonna be and Anthony's working on it now. Anthony, if you had to give him a percentage of it being done, there's that new cover.
I like that new cover. That's nice.
No, so nice.
No, I'm being dead serious. I'm being very serious. I like that. That's nice. The blue is a nice shot with the black heavy shadows. Help contrast.
Got a good colors, man.
Got some nice
good
Joe Mad feel on this this creeper looking dude.
That's my favorite cover right there.
Yeah,
that's
creeper
pretty
dude
cool.
or the voodoo, the Samedi.
Yeah, that's
I got Jesse on it right now doing the variant on the colors on that one. So we're gonna probably do it different. No, on the guy smoking the cigar.
That one.
Okay.
Yeah,
The voodoo guy.
Yeah.
We have a black and white one.
He's about to sing on the back of a vehicle as Bond drives off, making out with someone.
Can you promise me something, Anthony?
I'll try very hard.
Never the guy with the cigar. I forget his official name. I always want to call him Papa Chando. Okay. Never do a blacklight poster of that because my wife will buy it and hang up her bedroom.
She's gonna put it right next to Ghost and Priest and all these other ones.
I'll be freaked out and I'll never want to go to the bedroom again.
I want to see a glow in the dark blacklight of that.
Yeah,
Like
I
that.
would
black light poster, that's
the
what we do.
black and white version.
That blacklight version. Nope. It will never show up here ever.
Those devil eyes. Yeah.
Plus, apparently, those things are expensive. Those things are expensive to make. So, yeah. Apparently, they were cheap back in the 70s to make them because everyone had the tech. Now, no one has the technology, so it's
Really? So they're expensive now?
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. It comes down to like everything else. It's there. You just gotta find it. It's like metal printing.
Really?
If you find the companies that weren't just trying to sell to artists or sell to people for their homes, you can get it on pennies on the dollar. And that's
You changed the
I'd
video?
like to get I don't think so. Unless somebody went in and changed it for me.
Chippity chop, chop, chop. This does look a little different from the last time I saw it. Because you had, I don't know, does this video got you and the time lapse moving traffic behind you in the comic shop?
Yeah, but that's at that should be at the it's at after this. After this is over.
The background looks way different now.
It might just be one of those things where it's like that's the focus on us because there was so much of it. I don't remember this background though.
Yeah, I don't either. But it looks cool.
What?
It's awesome.
This was the whole selling point. The whole goddamn thing.
Yeah, we didn't see any of the animated stuff. We just
We
saw a
must have
bunch
been
of
too
videos
busy looking at the
moving
illustrations.
back and forth.
The cool art.
No, it's not the illustrations, it's the background.
Yeah, we didn't get any of the background last time.
Yeah,
we
we
didn't
saw
get that either. There was
No.
none of this.
Oh no, I
We
remember
saw
the
it when
hand
we put it
there.
up on here. Yeah,
Some
see, we got
crazy
this.
guy talking.
I remember that part.
Yeah,
I
Orange,
even took
there's
yeah.
orange.
for that one.
I remember this. Yeah.
The guy got
I
hit by a
remember the
street
lighting
car.
in the background as vehicles were
That guy
moving
got
by.
hit by a
moving
streetcar.
or something.
It rolled right over him. I had to cut that part out. I thought about leaving it in, but it
You know,
was kind of
Anthony.
no,
you look-
Randy. I know that didn't happen. I'm just throwing
Yeah,
it
that
out.
wasn't none of this.
It-
I don't remember
Ah,
anything.
you're just pulling our leg now.
Anthony, when you're in the video there, you look a little chubbier.
I don't
Clint?
very. You know,
We always see him in the dark in the
bring it down to
shadows.
your level, bro. Like
Varian's just starting stuff
that's
now.
what it
I'm
is.
like, what he's trying to say is, you look good, man. You're looking good. All of this work after your successful campaign has led to, you know, a
jealous,
better
Gary.
lifestyle.
Goddamn, it
That-
doesn't
that's all he's
suit you
saying.
very well, bro. You don't wear the jealousy that well, bro.
Yeah, no, I just look a little.
You cut me fucking deep. I just want to tell you.
I gotta say, I love the out of focus background. Looks really pro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do like
The
that.
guy who did
See,
this to
that's
me
what it
owed me
was.
money.
Those lights on the Spider-Man kept distracting me. That's why I was like, is it time lapsed? Because cars kept going by.
Yeah, you should have seen this guy owed me money. That's how I got this film. But it was funny because we were filming it in this shop, and he's like, we had to like watch because again, people are like walking by and they're like, there's a massage parlor next door and there's a freaking dry clean over here and motorbikes and helicopters and shit. It's like, oh my god, it was a fucking disaster.
Another day in the neighborhood.
And of course, it's always under to the left, just barely.
So I'm gonna go there. Everybody, we're gonna start with. I'm looking at my green room here. We're gonna start with Josh. Josh Leeman, and he's gonna tell us where they can find him, and then we'll go Anthony, Eric, Dr. Lore, and then that'll be it because no one needs to know where me can find me and Randy.
Tetris fashion. I like this.
Go ahead. You start first, Josh.
First in, first out. You guys can find me at Art of Josh Lyman on Instagram and as well as Facebook. Recently on Twitter, which is barely used, and soon to be artofjoshlyman.com. Stick with the name brand and use it. You can see my art there. You can see projects we're working on and projects I'm, live streaming and things like that. And I get to kibitz on shows like this and, occasionally Indie Advocate.
Occasionally when they'll have you. Next is Mr. Eric. We're gonna go Anthony. Anthony. I thought we were going Eric.
Come on, man, he's got.
Varian didn't do well with the
we look
shape
alike?
game when he was a kid.
That way, maybe we can keep the two hats.
Kept
down.
Varian, are you drinking, Varian?
That's Randy. Randy's controlling the board.
I'm controlling the board.
All right.
So it's the
My
white
name
guy.
is Eric Hudson. I am the Dreaded Dinosaur. I am at Dreaded Dinosaur on all your social medias, YouTube channel, Twitch, which I ignore, but Instagram and Twitter, those are my homes. You can also find me on Facebook, or you can hit up erichudson.com and check out my my artwork that I got for sale. Up here on the screen is Webtoon, where the Dreaded Dinosaur Man currently lives. I'll be updating that with new strips here near the end of the month, and building up to the debut of my book, The Dreaded Dinosaur Man, coming out to Indiegogo this fall. So please check me out, subscribe to the Dinosaur Man Webtoon, and look for future updates coming soon.
Excellent.
That was
Excellent.
perfect timing.
Next is Anthony, right? Yeah.
Find him. Got to find him. Which one? Which one? It's got to be that one. Here we are. Anthony.
Oh, you should have pulled up Josh. He's much better looking, man. And then he could have just worded, opened his mouth up. Hey, my name is Anthony Figueroa. You can reach me at kiddestructo.com, or you can reach me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, LinkedIn, Angie's list of comic books. You can look me up on there as well. My book is currently in demand. It's called God King. You can go over on Indiegogo right now and check it out. Or you can catch me sometimes on here, having fun and cutting up and drinking and just, being inappropriate. That's all I got. Thank you.
Totally inappropriate. Totally inappropriate. And then, of course, Dr. Lore, man of the hour.
Okay, yeah. So my comic is The Death Ray of Dr. Vindictus. That's the one that is currently up on Indiegogo. I've got other ones coming up. including Duskbringer, the Duskbringer saga. Another one I'm working on is Phoenix Ashes. That one's a little further down the road, but we're looking forward to having a successful campaign, and hopefully this is the first of many.
Yep.
Excellent.
And again, back in Dr. Vindictus helps bring on those fantasy worlds.
That's right. That's right. And then, of course, you can catch Mr. Zimmerman here. He's YouTube. He's got to get back to.
One of these days, Zim
Yeah.
Geek, ZIMMGEEK. There will be new stuff up there eventually. I swear.
That he pre-promises. Of course, this is Indie Vault, and I want to thank everybody. I want to thank all right now 9,167 of you listening on Indie Vault Radio. Listen, everybody, you can be part of that amazing number and help that number grow every week. It's simple. All you got to do is download the Indie Vault Radio app. It's a perfect companion to our official website, indievolt.com. Indie Vault Radio plays the best in indie music, entertainment news, and more 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Hear music from talent like Parks, Squares, and Alleys, and Dims One. Download the Indie Vault Radio app on Android's Google Play Store, or listen in with the streamer app on iOS. You can also check out Indie Vault Radio by visiting our official site, indievolt.com, and utilizing the built-in player right there on the front page. And because everyone is in the house these days, and you may have some questions for us too. You can I'll do the I'll do the TV one. Since you're I'm gonna kill you.
Go ahead.
Okay. You're stuck in the house. You can check us out on Indie Vault TV. It's the over-the-top streaming service available on Roku and coming very soon to Amazon Fire Stick and more. Stream independent movies, music videos, wrestling, original documentaries, and more on Indie Vault TV. And did I mention that it's free? Via Indie Vault TV by searching the channel store on your Roku device or Roku-enabled television. And finally, if you want to email us a question about the shape of our anuses, I guess, you can do so by emailing us at indievoltlive@indievolt.com. Please include Indie Vault Live in the subject and keep those emails to 90 words or less. And we'll make fun of your question too when you send it in. Thank you for joining us. Everyone stay happy, stay healthy. We'll be back here, Geekgasm, tomorrow night at 9. And then Randy and I'll be back Thursday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Indie Vault Breakfast Buzz. But tomorrow is Geekgasm at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with Lola and a few other guests. Until then, everybody.
If her headache allows.
If her headache allows. Yep. If her headache doesn't allow, I'll be dressed up as Lola. It's not gonna be pretty.
Can we take a
Carpets included.
Can we take a second to look into the Valiant studio again?
Sure.
Let's see if anybody's working.
Oh, look.
Nobody's there.
And I understand there has breaking news just as we're getting ready to end here. Breaking news just as we're getting ready to end. I want to bring this up. Apparently, there has been an accident on the USS Mainstream Comics. We do have video picture photography of that.
Picture?
USS Mainstream. Is there a picture? Is there a picture? There's a picture of what's happening.
It's going down.
USS Mainstream. There's the picture. I don't know who's sending that picture in, but thank you for the picture.
No idea. No idea how that happens. That's what Chuck Wendig has to say about it.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us. If that last half didn't make any sense to you because you're listening on the radio, we're sorry. But look at it on YouTube, subscribe to us on YouTube, and follow us on YouTube. Ring the notification bell, and you too will get to see all of our beautiful faces that are made for radio.
It's much worse in person. Come on.
Much worse.
Much worse.
I have been and you all have been awesome. This has been an Indie Vault production, not owned by Disney, not yet, but we are available. Talk to you guys soon. See you later.
Bye.
Good night.
Yeah. They're closing?
Yes, next Tuesday.
Okay. The last thing I want to be when the end of the world comes is sober.
Wonder Woman.